Okay, so it's been a little while since I did one of these videos, but today I am back to help you guys improve at the game. If you enjoy this style and want to improve, please do leave a like rating. Any suggestions for things you're struggling with, do comment down below and subscribe, and I will help you get better at this game for free. It is a win-win for everybody. But enjoy the video, guys. If you want the cheapest FC24 coins to get ahead of the competition, check out MMOEXP by clicking the link down below and use code JambooUK for 5% off. Okay, so we're going to be getting into it. If you're not familiar with this concept, essentially I'm an ex-professional player. Still playing the game at a high level. I play a lot of FUT Champions, man. I do run a weekend league service. If you are interested, link is in the description if you want the best rewards. But the point being, I play a lot of this game, and I have to hit certain ranks for people. So I'm going to be showing you and sharing my thought process on what I'm doing to win games at a FUT Champions level. So we're going to be going in a 4-4-2 for the purpose of this video. You will see me using offside traps a lot to get my line nice and high. The one thing you don't want to be doing in FUT Champs is allowing your opponent too much time. Obviously, it takes a certain amount of courage. You know, if you're on for your next rank, for example, maybe you don't want to drag players out of position and stuff. But you've got to be brave. You know, if you want to get the best results, you definitely have to be brave. One thing you don't want to do is what I just did there and dilly-dally around in the midfield and lose the ball. That can happen. That's the one thing with FUT Champs. It is a very much mental roller coaster and a marathon. You know, you're going to go through ups, downs. It's a long stretch. You know, 20 games is no joke. You know, for me, I'm playing a lot more than that, but for most of you guys, 20 games, it's still a hell of a lot across a weekend. See here, one thing I like to do, you get the ball out wide, use that L1 sprint boost, and look to recycle the ball back into the middle. Opportunities will open up for driven passes. Not on this occasion. We try and be brave and press. The opponent does well to work his way out of danger there. We track him all the way back, and then we'll do what we can. The team I'm using in this video as well, as you will have seen, not that good. So that's just to try and show, you know, you don't need a god squad. We're also playing on new gen in this video, which is something that I honestly wouldn't really recommend, but I know most of you guys do play on the new version of the game. But anyway, let's focus up and try and get back into this. So I'm going to trigger runs of my players. This opponent, he seems a pretty good player. You know, he's not leaving anything easy for me. We're going to have to do some quick passing here. We'll get the ball out wide and look for a cutback position. Very unlucky. His Vidic's just done super well. But that exact pattern that you've just seen is something that you can replicate a lot. We will step in there, get super unlucky. But yeah, getting the ball out wide and then looking for that ball in the middle is a surefire way, you know, of applying pressure and creating opportunities for yourself on this game. This game is very repetitive and boring, the way that you have to play if you want to be at a high level. There's a lot of recycling, there's a lot of getting the ball out wide, as you will see in this video. First game on of the day for me as well, so excuse some of the poor decisions and just rusty gameplay in general. We'll use an offside trap once again. You see how my line is so high and it just eats up that space in the middle, like he had no pass on there. Purely because of the offside trap. We are going to send Nani on another run. L1 sprint boost to go past the fullback. And once again, we're looking for these cutback situations. Taking our time here. Little step over sprint boost. R1 dribbling. Try and recycle the ball into the middle. Get it to CR7. Little bit of magic. And that is a good save from the keeper. But if someone is sat, you know, with a lot of men behind the ball, as we go for a corner, by the way, I didn't even need to talk over that. I'm sure you guys know corners on this game are an absolute disgrace right now. Literally just pass the ball short, step over out, and yeah, cross to the back post, goal. But what was I saying? Yeah, if someone is, you know, if they've got a lot of players behind the ball, it can take something a little bit special. You know, there's not necessarily just a one trick to break everybody down, except for a corner. Sometimes you've got to throw in something different. You know, you saw me with CR7 just before Alisson saved, throwing in like the advanced fake shot or whatever it's called. And that is sometimes what it can take. Here, this opponent, Fantastic job from him. Really good play. That is the other thing with FC24. It's definitely not a game where... the way I think about it, back in the day... Let me make sure that I don't concede again here. Deary, deary me, we're playing bad. Back in the day, you could have like a really good... You know, if you were a top level player, you could shut people out and just lock down the defence. It's not really like that anymore, man. There's so many ways to score. There's so many cheap goals, you know, from the corners, rebounds, whatever it may be. And it makes it super difficult. So having the tools to outscore your opponent is far more important these days than actually just being solid at the back. You know, if you can go forward and score more goals than your opponent, obviously that is going to win you the game. So that is the priority, because you can be the best defender in the world and you're still going to concede like EA cheesy goals. You know what I mean? So see here, we will fake the player lock, trying to work the ball into the middle here. Step over boost with Ronaldo, and that... Oh, that is incredible. How on earth has he missed that chance? Another step over boost. Good tackle from our opponent. And I'm glad that this is actually happening in the game, because this is like a typical Foot Champs game where you have no idea how you're losing here. And the important thing is to actually just not lose your head and keep going. And eventually, you know, the result will come the majority of the time if you are better than your opponent. But you can see here, our opponent now hits the post as well. It's a crazy game we play. It is a very crazy game, FC24. We'll use a player lock into our striker there. Waiting for the wide run, we will use that. We're going to try and play the ball on the inside. L1 sprint boost, but we don't get the right animation. And our opponent does eat up the danger. Offside traps once again. Have to try to not change too much, because the chances are being made. And that's the thing I've always said when playing FIFA, but especially FC24. You know, winning can feel like it's out of your hands. It's more about doing what you can to push the percentage chance of getting the result in your favour. But here, we'll go for another corner goal. Get unfortunate there. Good defending from the opponent. He's dealt with that really well. Recycled possession as well. Bit of a loose one. We could win this header. Yes, we do. And we're going to try and take our time again. Calling players short, sending players on runs. In general, just moving my team around the pitch. We'll use the R1 dribbling here in and around the box. It is super, super effective. We get all the way into a good position for the cutback, and that is how a goal goes in there. So, I mean, this is actually a textbook, great example of a game of FC24, because this is pretty ridiculous, to be honest with you. The way goals are going in, the way chances aren't going in, it's all happening. So, second half, and I feel we've been the better player. So, you have to just not really change much. We keep the same fundamentals. And obviously, it doesn't always play out like this. Sometimes, you know, if you are better than your opponent, you are able to just comfortably win, of course. But you are going to get these games where you just feel like it's not quite going your way. And that is where, like, you have to really keep your head, keep your skill level up, and find a way, really, of turning the result into your favour. But again, offside traps here. You can see I'm proactively pressing and switching with the right stick and combining that with the second man press. That is my way of squeezing my opponent in, doing multiple jobs at once, and in general just being a lot more efficient with how I sort of manage my players. You know, you don't want your players being static in the offense or defense. That's why player locking is so important. That's why second man press is so important. All that stuff. Good chance there. The opponent moved the keeper, and when you've got time like that, it's important to actually just wait and see what they do, because he just left us with an open net. If you rush your shot, you've got a much more you know, big chance of wasting it and just shooting straight at their keeper, and that's the last thing you want to do. But again, driven pass, it got a bit deflected there. We will recycle the ball. No, we won't. Our opponent has done super well, but you can see here, we're going for that squeeze again. Got to mark the runner in behind here. That is the instant danger. Good save, and yeah, another rebound goal. So 3-3, bit of a crazy game going on. Impossible situation there, because we had to mark the runner for the through ball, but that then left the back post free, and there's not always too much that you can do about that. The way crossing and corners and all that is at the minute, you know, anything in the air, it just seems to be very, very difficult to deal with. We're going to send CR7 on a run here, play a lock to him, get unlucky, but we do win a corner, which, as we've spoke about, is a great opportunity at a goal. So we'll sprint boost out, corner to the back post. There you go. FC24 in an absolute nutshell. It's crazy the way this game works. It never fails, you know, to amaze me. It really doesn't. But sprint boost again. CR7 should be free here. We can get all the way to the byline. Going to try and cut the ball back for an open goal. Opponent does defend it very well. Again, offside traps. Get that line high. Do not give him the space in the midfield. You can see he's resorted to that. And then we do just win the ball back pretty comfortably. Puskas fighting for his life there. Not quite enough, but we do win the free kick. And at this point, you sort of want to be slowing the game down. The opponent is really not offering a lot other than just counter-attacks. And, you know, we can't be letting him have that. So you have to be careful where you lose the ball, because you're always going to lose it at some point. Where you lose it is very important. Looking for a driven pass here. Get it to Nani. And it's fine. We've got another corner. And you guys know what happens from corners. He has moved his keeper this time. May not matter. It does deflect back to him. Just got to make sure he doesn't have an open space down the line here. You can see right stick switching. Micromanaging my players at all times, making sure that he doesn't have any easy passes on. You can't always defend that switch across there. You can see I'm marking Sancho. Got to be careful here, using the second man press and a manual to go to him. Absolute carnage going on here. And I'm actually so glad that this is the game that I decided to record, because it has just been so FC24. It really has. Sending our players on a run. Awful ball by me. I should have just recycled it there. Got to mark this down the line. That is what he's always going to try and go for. Another offside trap, making sure that we're marking the striker's run at all times. That is the immediate danger, so that is what you have to deal with. Another offside trap, and we're just trying to not give up any space here. This is a good opponent that will definitely punish us if we don't mark the right areas. So you can see here again, I'm staying close to his player, and we do step in there and manage to get rid of the danger. I'm going to play a lock to CR7, not actually use it, just take our time. And just try and get a bit of a breather here. It's turning all a bit too frantic. So we're taking our time, calling my players short, recycle the ball back into the middle. And where possible, I'm just going to waste a little bit of time. Sometimes you have to do that. Triggering my player on a run here. We will play the ball to him. Use the player lock fake, and then actually use the player lock. Gets blocked. Never going to be able to score because he's got so many players there. So we recycled instead of shooting. L1 sprint boost. Looking for a cutback now. Get unfortunate. Got to be careful with this counter attack. Marking the line here. Again, marking the wide players rather than going to the ball. Just try and give him less passing options. But again, that fullback switch, it is impossible to mark at times. Using the second man press out wide whilst marking the player in the middle. Trying to get out to him, and we do really well there. We actually press the tackle button and step in with a really well-timed challenge. But again here, we've got to be careful. I'm trying to pull my players into central areas where possible, and then use the second man press out wide. So you can see here, trying to mark the players that are the immediate danger, and we do intercept the ball. This guy's got the press on now, and it is nigh on impossible to play your way out. So you've got to be super careful here. Do not dive in as well. We're taking our time, trying to be patient. We don't want to be giving away any penalties. That is the last thing we want to do. But here now, we've won the ball. 2 minutes left. In an ideal world, he now doesn't touch the ball again for the rest of the game. That is what we're going to go for. And that is just what you have to do, man. They would do it to you, so you've got to do it to them. Taking our time. Recycling the ball with our centre-backs. And I know this isn't pretty viewing by any means, but it is a needs-must situation. You know, for Team of the Season, Foot Champs rewards, you just can't be letting wins fall away. But hopefully this helped you guys out. Any feedback, let me know. Please do leave a like if you enjoyed. I'll catch you on the next one, and peace.